Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's good to have you this week also. And in case you're new to this channel, my name is Kpamor James Tengu Suleh, and this is a channel that you will find content on personal development, leadership and life management. And this week I want to talk to you on content that I've titled Hate, a Qualifier for Blessings. Hate, a Qualifier for Blessings. I've decided to make this content particularly for those who have received hatred from the very people that they looked forward to and hoped that would love them deeply. So in case you are a child who has been hated by the parents that you thought would love you and will love you deeply, it's for you that I've made such a content. Or maybe you are a wife that has been hated by your husband whom you have done all you could to earn his love, and yet you are hated in return. Maybe you are a husband who has been hated by your wife and you've done all that you could to earn her love, and yet you have only received hatred. Or perhaps you are a subordinate working with a superior and you have done all you could, you have taken all the seminars and learned all you could in order to please him and earn his or her love. And yet for everything that you do, you only receive hatred. It is for you that I have come to make this content. And I'm making this content with the assumption that you have tried all you could, and the very reason for which you have been hated, it's not your fault. In case you are hated for your wrongdoings, I would counsel you to adjust your ways and see how you can change so that you will be loved by the very people that you hope to be loved by. But in case you have done all you could and you are sure you have tried, you have committed yourself to earn love from such a person, and yet you have only been hated, then I've come to give you an information that will open another door of blessing for you while you hope to earn such a person's love in the days or months or years ahead. I want you to pay good attention to this content, because I'm very sure that if you implement what I'm about to teach you in this content, you will be glad that you came across this content. And not only will you be glad to use the opportunity of your hatred as an opportunity, as an opening for you to attain a great height in life, but you would eventually earn and get the love that you sought for from that person whom you deeply desired that you would be loved. There is a story in the book of Genesis chapter 29, when you begin reading from verse 21, of 4 characters in the Bible that's talking about Jacob, Laban, Rachel and Leah. Jacob sought to marry Laban's daughter by name Leah, and he labored for her for 7 years. Unfortunately, after 7 years, Laban tricked Jacob and gave Leah to him instead. And Jacob hated Leah for that very fact, even though he eventually got married to Rachel. But he hated Leah so severely and had nothing, even matrimonial, to do with Leah. And the Bible says that when God saw that Leah was hated by Jacob, God opened the womb of Leah, and Leah began to bear children. Now, it is in the context of this story that I have come to give you 2 key points that will help you turn the hatred that you have endured for this long period of a time to an opportunity for you to be blessed by God, and then eventually even obtain the love that you sought for so much from the people that hated you so much, either your spouse or maybe your superior at work or your parents. Now, the first thing I want to let you know, if you are hated by these people from whom you hoped that they would love you so dearly, be it your parents or your spouse or your superior at work, is that please do not harbor bitterness towards them. Do not harbor bitterness towards them. The moment you harbor bitterness towards the people that hate you and hate you for no fault of yours, you have already forecluded an opportunity of turning this opening of hatred into a blessing. It's important to mention that there are circumstances where some people harbor bitterness not only towards the people they hope would have loved them, they also harbor bitterness towards people who they feel that should have intervened and create an opportunity for these people to love them. Some even harbor bitterness towards God, because as far as they are concerned, they are God's children, and God would have intervened and create an opportunity for them to be loved either by their spouse or their parents or their superior at their places of work. Now, the moment you harbor bitterness either to the person who hates you for no fault of yours, or you harbor bitterness towards the people who, in your own estimation, would have intervened and create an opportunity for you to be loved, or you harbor bitterness towards God, you have already forecluded an opportunity for you to turn this hatred to an opportunity for blessing. The second point I want to give you is, if you are hated and it is for no fault of yours, then like Leah, bring this hatred to the knowledge of God. It is until God saw that Leah was hated, that was when he made her to bear children. He opened her womb to bear children. So until God sees that you are hated, God cannot open your womb. Now, do not assume that God is aware. Do not assume that God already knows that you are hated. You need to bring it to his knowledge. And the question is, how will you bring it to God's knowledge, the fact that you are hated and you are hated for no fault of yours? You will do this through prayer. Bring it to the knowledge of God through prayer. And when you are doing this, it should not be on the platform of bitterness. Do it on the platform of love for the person who hates you and hates you deeply, even though it is for no fault of yours. It is when God saw that Leah brought to his knowledge the fact that she was hated, and she did it on a platform of love, that God opened her womb and she began to bear children. Eventually, Leah was now loved by her husband. When you bring it to the knowledge of God, God will open your womb. Now, the opening of your womb would mean different things to different people. To some, it may be that they that have been barren will begin to bear children. For some, it will be that that contract that was head-bound will be released unto you. For some, it will be that that job that looked elusive and could not enter your hand will be released into your hand. For some, it could be that opportunities that were elusive and it looked as if you would never lay hands on them will suddenly be released unto you. And these opportunities will be some of the reasons why the person who has hated you and hated you for no fault of yours will suddenly begin to love you. The Bible tells us that eventually Jacob developed deep love for Leah and accepted her as his wife also. And he had a lot of children with her. And these children became children of covenant with God. And so I want to inform you that if you are hated and you are hated for no fault of yours, you have two things to do that will turn around that hatred to an opportunity for you to receive blessings from God. One, do all you can not to be embittered either to the person who hates you or to the people who you feel that had opportunity to make you to be loved, or create an opportunity for those who hate you to love you, and don't be embittered even to God. And then secondly, bring the fact that you are hated to the knowledge of God. Do not assume that God is aware. Bring it to his knowledge, and you have to do this through prayer. And it has to be on the platform of love for the person who hates you and hates you deeply. I am very convinced that if you employ these 2 points I have given you, despite the fact that you are hated, one, you will earn blessing from God, and eventually the person who hates you would begin to love you. I hope that this content will be very beneficial to you, and please subscribe if you have not subscribed, and also share this content to people who you know that would be in need of such a content. Keep a date with me next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. GMT +1. God bless you.